What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Justice League Dark Apokolips, which is DC's latest animated movie. It's freaking insane. I'd say it's probably my favorite DC animated movie, and after that I'd probably put the Flashpoint Paradox because there are similarities in ways. So if you are new around here, make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos. At the 100,000 subscribe mark, I will be doing something that we've never done on his channel, so make sure to subscribe to never miss any of the videos and share the video around. That would be pretty cool. So this storyline is very, very dark, and it explains a lot of things. So yesterday, Justice League, Zack Snyder's cut, or at least it's officially being called Zack Snyder's Justice League, will release in 2021, so we have some more details which we're briefly going to go over. So it will be released at some point in 2021. It's going to be a very different movie to the one that was released in 2017 by Warner Bros. Zack Snyder said if you've seen that, you've probably only seen 25% of the movie. It's either going to be a 4-hour movie or it's going to be a 6-part miniseries on HBO Max, which kind of makes more sense if they want to keep their subscription-based service, which is pretty cool. So that's the new information we have, and they're going to spend somewhere around the region of $20 to $30 million, which is a lot of money. But HBO Max is owned by AT&T, which rumoredly is worth $250 billion, so it's pocket money to them. So there is a really epic quote from the Flashpoint storyline at the start of this movie. Is set the things you cannot change. Have the courage to change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. Now that is a quote, and by the end of the movie you'll understand why that Flashpoint quote is there, because right at the end of the movie, essentially Barry Allen has to create Flashpoint 2.0 to reset everything. So Flashpoint Paradox caused the Apokolips War to start off with. Early in the film, as the Justice League is discussing a potential invasion by Earth, Apokolips, the Flash mentions the visions I had about Flashpoint. And while not everybody in the League believes him, in an all-out war with Apokolips, world caused destruction on Earth. Later, John Constantine worked on a sleeping spell on a frenzied Barry Allen, and John had a psychic flashback of one Barry Allen's vision, leading John to declare the Flash was responsible for causing Flashpoint and the war on Apokolips. So this movie is animated, obviously, but it's essentially the Justice League Snyder Cut, the original one that we were supposed to get. So I'm not really sure if what Zack Snyder's working on now is going to be anything like this, but this is essentially what it would have been like. So it is pretty cool. So literally every single organization is in this: the Suicide Squad, the Bat Family, Teen Titans, etc. John Constantine is pretty much one of the most important characters throughout the whole thing. So Batman, they're all working for the Darkseid. Darkseid Apokolips, the Omega being one of the strongest people ever. So at the end, Darkseid is ultimately defeated, but Earth is far from safe. So essentially what happens is Cyborg has to sacrifice himself, and he sends Trigon and Darkseid into a black hole, which if you know anything about comics, you know that is not enough to kill either of them. It will keep them out of play for a while. So at the end, the Justice League is decimated, and the Earth is decimated. As far as Batman can tell from a simple analysis, it's far gone. The environment, it's gone. It cannot be saved. As Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman begin to discuss what might be done to keep the casualties out of the billions, John Constantine slips away and approaches the Flash, saying, "You know what you have to do, mate? Clear the board. Start again." When Barry protests that there's no way of telling what changes might be caused by another Flashpoint, Constantine argues that it can't possibly be any worse than the mess we're in now. Without a word, Barry Allen gets up and starts running. The movie closes with the lights whooshing over the horizon as the Justice League looks on and the world changes. So essentially that is why we had this quote at the start of the movie: accept the things you cannot change, have the courage to change the things you can, and have the wisdom to know the difference. That is a quote from Barry Allen's mother. So the Flashpoint Paradox caused Justice League Darkseid Apokolips. At the start of the movie, obviously they said that Darkseid's been attacking the world many times and keeps failing, and it is interesting how he keeps Superman at bay. A liquid kryptonite that basically zaps all his powers. So it was a very fascinating movie. A lot of fascinating characters. King Shark was in it. Harley Quinzel was in it. The Suicide Squad. Even Hawkman was in it. Literally everyone you can think of. Lex Luthor. You notice how everyone kind of exaggerates the Luthor part. So it is really interesting. And one question I do have, if you have seen it, was Batman not under control all the time? Was he waiting for the perfect chance to manipulate Darkseid? I don't think he was under any spell, because he was trained by the League of Assassins, and he can literally unlock any person that tries to mind control him. So it is going to be very interesting, and it kind of does reset the DC animated universe in a way. Now, I really like this. It is pretty cool. It's up there with the Flashpoint Paradox. Probably a little bit better. Although it's called Dark Apokolips, it wasn't really that dark. It was essentially what the Justice League movie should have been about. Terraforming the Earth, destroying all the universes. And essentially, the 3-part trilogy for the Justice League was supposed to end with obviously Steppenwolf being taken back to Apokolips, Darkseid destroying him, killing him, and the Justice League seeing Darkseid, which is fantastic. So what is interesting is Humberto Gonzalez from Heroic Hollywood recently said on a live stream, now that he's officially allowed to say it, he said that he got to see what Darkseid, a 3D model of what Darkseid was going to look like in the Justice League movie, which is insane. So we most likely are going to see that. What I found interesting is in the opening credits, after the team was being attacked by a new breed of parademons, forged, mutated with the DNA of Doomsday, which is interesting. Very interesting. This storyline is very, very cool. And one day, I hope we get to see something on this level. It was like Infinity War and Endgame times 10. But in my opinion, it was better. But animated movies are always better than live action, because if this was a live action, it would be like $1 billion movie just to make it. I mean, even Starfire was in it, Trigon, Martian Manhunter, Mira, Wonder Woman, Hal Jordan, all the Green Lanterns, so much Kryptonite, Cyborg. Literally every single character you can think of appeared in some capacity. Even Boomerang from the Suicide Squad was in this. So, like always, guys, let me know down below, what did you think about the ending scene? Are you waiting and looking forward for the Justice League Snyder Cut? Man of Steel 2 was obviously revealed yesterday, with Danny Garcia saying, I've had this information, I've had a big secret, trying to keep it. So this movie essentially is kind of what the original variation of Justice League was supposed to be. You know how we had the Knightmare scene in BVS, the world that had been turned to dust after Darkseid took over. Essentially, this was in this movie, and essentially it's all the Flash's fault, and the Flash had to run back in time to reboot everything. So like always, guys, I just want to thank you for all the love and support recently on the channel, with the Justice League videos, with the Batman Arkham videos, with the Kong vs Godzilla videos, with all the kind of different content we'll be on this channel. Even the God of War video that got over 250,000 views. Pretty insane. So I am going to be doing more video game based videos, but we're still going to keep doing Marvel, DC, and all the pop culture based stuff. If you could follow me, twitch.tv/Warstu. I will be streaming quite frequently very soon, starting June, when I get my new internet through. So like always, guys, let me know everything that you do think down below. That this animated movie was literally just perfect. It was such a cool little story. Only an hour and a half, so it wasn't very long. John Constantine was OP as, and Raven, you know, her father, Trigon, stuck inside her. And eventually Trigon got stuck with Darkseid in a black hole, which they probably will get out. I presume this won't be the last movie they do in this kind of Justice League DC animated universe, which is very different to DCEU. It's called the DCAU, the DC animated universe. It's freaking awesome. Kind of really linked very closely to the Flashpoint Paradox. So like always, guys, please like, subscribe, and comment. Just want to say thanks for all the love and support on the channel. If you do want to follow me on Instagram at Warstu, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, WarstuGG, Facebook group Warstu, Facebook page Warstu, and I will catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.